Derek Chauvin being found guilty on multiple charges led to a feeling of sort of mixed relief for most people. I think it's complex, certainly. For others, not so complex, and no relief was had. I apologize in advance, but I'm going to show you some of last night's Tucker Carlson monologue. Here he is on what he thinks the sentencing actually shows.
Jury in the Derek Chauvin trial came to a unanimous and unequivocal verdict this afternoon. Please don't hurt us. No politician or media figure has the right to intimidate a jury. And no political party has the right to impose a different standard of justice on its own supporters.
Okay, so they only pronounced him guilty because they were afraid of being murdered. He translated for us, which is helpful. His audience prefers that he makes things very simple for them, or at least that's what he thinks of his audience, clearly without condescending it regularly is. So JR, no politician gets to do whatever. No mob has a right to destroy our cities, which is ironic because I actually remember a mob trying to destroy a city. If we could go to that Ben shared. The weird thing was he actually didn't have a problem with that one. And it's weird because he also said you don't get to, as a party, have a different standard of justice for your own people.
Weird.
And it's weird, he did months of shows complaining that the rioters were being treated too harshly, that they didn't do anything wrong. They're not white supremacists. Come on, lay off. Those are our people. Don't be so hard on them. It's almost like he's a hypocrite, JR. Like that.
This is what's expected. It's the way it's gonna go. The anger and the frustration over the right thing to happen here is just gonna boil over. But the next thought is never said. This is the way it always works. I feel like I always repeat this, and I'm sorry. But the next thought is never said. So what is it that you wanted to happen here? Obviously, you wanted him to be released. You wanted him to be acquitted. On what grounds? So who killed him? Who killed George Floyd? How did he die? We went through all that in the trial, but we already know that Tucker doesn't care about looking into the information before he makes any of his opinions. So if you look into what was said in the trial, which I didn't watch any of the trial, but I just read little cursory notes, but you know that I did find out. And the thing is, you can look further and actually know, or you can do the surface thing that I did. And here they specifically pointed out from medical examiners to professionals about what happened to this person's body. He was killed.
Yep.
He was asphyxiated. Someone stopped the flow of oxygen through his body and he passed away. I don't know what else we can point out after we watched who did that act for that long unnecessarily. But what else could you want? So you want cops to be able to do this over and over and over and over and over again. I'm sorry. You want cops to continue to be able to do this over and over and over again because this is not new. It's just it's on tape. And then everyone in the world was watching. That's the difference here. Just like Rodney King, there was a tape and everyone in the world was watching, except they didn't come to the conclusion that everyone saw in front of their eyes with the tape. Their frustration is that, man, this is supposed to be another Rodney King. We see the evidence in front of us and we tell black people, F you. That's what we do. And he's mad that we're not doing it this one time.
Well, yeah, and look, you mentioned the evidence that came out. If I were the host of a huge show with a massive audience, and I had been saying that it was totally not related to the neck thing, against all of the evidence and common sense, yeah, I'd probably want to say something about that. But he's found a way to be silent about that, and he's been doing that up until very recently. Now, I don't know what most of these commentators we're going to talk about actually wanted to happen. A lot of them in advance of it over the past few months have been saying, oh no, clearly he's a bad apple and what he did is bad. But let's talk about something else. Even those who wanted to sort of get cred for being reasonable and saying, well, yeah, no, clearly this guy killed someone. We're all like weirdly like temperamental yesterday. We'll turn to that in a few. But when we're talking about people who are temperamental, understand that Tucker Carlson, a guy who usually has absolutely no emotion in his face and doesn't seem to care about any of this, and why would he? He's fabulously wealthy. He did get really frustrated with a guest last night when the guest actually said that the force was excessive, because it was obviously. This is how Tucker responded.
The scene. I just think that it was excessive and it shouldn't happen. And what I'd like to say,
the guy who did it looks like he's going to spend the rest of his life in prison. So I'm kind of more worried about the rest of the country, which, thanks to police inaction, in case you haven't noticed, is like boarded up. So that's That's more my concern. But I appreciate you coming on, Ed Gavin. Thank you. Nope, done. Thank you.
Can anyone check on Tucker? Maybe a member of his staff, his home staff. I mean, I'm sure he's got servants. What was that? So he seemed to get that Chauvin had done something wrong, but I'm kind of more worried about the rest of the country. He's gonna spend the rest of his life in jail. So he's worried about injustice, seemingly. I'm reading from his face. He thinks it was an injustice that a person who killed another person would go to jail. And let's board it up. I don't know, what was that, selling a joke? Was that, he's clearly angry there.
Yeah.
He cut off the mic, which is what, a person who's really confident in their opinions, who brought on a guest who, it's not like the guy was ranting and raving or swearing or saying something crazy. The guy said it was excessive force. Well, he just got convicted of multiple murder charges. It is sort of objectively true at this point that it was excessive from the point of view of the jury. And he lost it, JR. He absolutely lost it.
Lost his mind. So this, and again, they keep talking about how, folks that are in support of this verdict, they were gonna go rioting in the streets. They're rabid, they're violent, they're angry. What's going on right here? There's so much anger based off of a verdict that was the most obvious black or white case you could ever see in front of you. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't matter, because there's been a condition. You've been conditioned to believe this is the way things are supposed to go. So now they've lost a little bit of faith in their form of justice system. They're like, wait a second, accountability for police officers who murder people in front of a crowd? Or hopefully, maybe we'll get to the point where there's accountability for officers who murder people in the middle of the night and isolated. Maybe we'll get there one day too, Tucker. I know we're upset about the obvious cases, and maybe we can get upset about the less obvious cases later. It's boiling over, it's seething. The little laugh is like a release of frustration. Like maybe he's gonna cuss on there. Maybe he can't take it anymore. So he has to. But I don't know if that's a winning argument.
I don't know.
Usually you may laugh or cackle after you think you just nailed somebody. Be like, what do you think now?
That's true. Yeah, and look, I actually kind of I found the cackle to be interesting, because generally my view of Tucker Carlson is that much of his most explicit racist positions and quotes are performative. They're designed to please his racist audience and bring in more racists to watch his show. But and the idea there is that he's just a rich guy. Why would he be so passionate about this? But he'll play it up for the audience. But he seems to actually be really angry that cops sometimes can't get away with murder. 7 times in 16 years can't get away from murder. That is enough to actually enrage him. So that's good. I like that. I like that his racism is more honest than I thought it was. I thought it was just purely awfully performative. No, he's actually driven by racial animus. That's a good lesson to learn.
Yeah, no, actually, you know what? That is the surprising part. Not surprising that he's a pure racist, just that that it wasn't contained within his script and his writing. From his racist writers, the only one that he got rid of.
Unless that cackle was actually in the script, we'll have to check.
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.